right, let's get into reading. We'll only read one chapter today. And what's hard is this word that it says the book of second, or the second book, chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. It's the name of a mouse, but in the Latin and Greek meaning, chiaro means light and oscuro means dark. So what we're going to find out is this character named chiaroscuro has light and darkness to him. Chiaroscuro. It's hard to say, but we'll get it. Chiaroscuro. All right, here we are. Chapter 16. As our story continues, reader, we must go back in time to the birth of a rat named Chiaroscuro, and called Roscuro. A rat born into the filth and darkness of the dungeon several years before Mouse Desborough had been born upstairs in the light. Reader, do you know the definition of the word chiaroscuro? I just told you, right? If you look in your dictionary, you'll find that it means an arrangement of light and dark, darkness and light together. Rats do not care for light. Roscuro, or chiaroscuro, that's his full name, and then Roscuro is his, what would you call it, a nickname, right? Well, Roscaro's parents were having a bit of fun when they named their son. Rats have a sense of humor. Rats, in fact, think that life is very funny, and they are right, reader. They are right. In the case of Chiaroscuro, however, the joke had a hint of prophecy to it. For it happened that when Roscuro was a very young rat, he came upon a great length of rope on a dungeon floor. "Ah, what do we have here?" said Roscuro. Being a rat, he immediately began to nibble at the rope. "Stop that!" boomed a voice, and a great hand came out of the darkness and picked the rat up by his tail and held him suspended upside down. "Were you nibbling on Gregory's rope, rat?" "Well, who wants to know?" said Roscuro, for even upside down he was still a rat. "You smart aleck rat, you smart aleck rat, nibbling on Gregory's rope. Gregory will teach you to mess with his rope." And keeping Roscuro upside down, Gregory lit a match with the nail of his thumb, psst, and then held the brilliant flame right at Roscaro's face. "Ah," said Roscuro. He pulled his head back away from the light, but alas, he did not close his eyes. And the flame exploded around him and danced inside him. "Has no one told you the rules?" said Gregory. "What rules?" "Gregory's rope, rat, is off limits." "So, apologize for chewing on Gregory's rope." "I will not," Roscuro said. "Apologize." "No." "Filthy rat," said Gregory. "You black-souled thing. Gregory has it with you rats. I've had it with you rats." He held the match closer to Roscaro's face, and a terrified smell of burnt whiskers rose up around the jailer and the rat. "You know, when you're a rat hanging upside down by a big old man holding you upside down, maybe you should be, I don't know, kind and just say, "I'm sorry," so he'll put you down. Okay, let's see what happens. He held the match closer to Roscaro's face, and a terrible smell of burnt whiskers rose up around the jailer and the rat. And then the match went out, and Gregory released Roscaro's tail and flung him back into the darkness. "Do not ever touch Gregory's rope again, or you will be sorry." Roscuro sat on the dungeon floor. The whiskers on his left side of his face were gone. His heart was beating hard, and though the light from the match had disappeared, it danced still before the rat's eyes, even when he closed them. "Light," he said aloud, and then he whispered the word again, "light." From that moment forward, Roscuro showed an abnormal, inordinate interest in illumination of all sorts. He was always in the darkness of the dungeon on the lookout for light, the smallest glimmer, the tiniest shimmer. His rat soul longed inexplicably for it. He began to think that light was the only thing that gave life meaning, and he despaired that there was so little of it to be had. He finally voiced this sentiment to his friend, a very old one-eared rat named Botticelli Rimorso. "I think," said Roscaro, "that the meaning of life is light." "Light?" said Botticelli. "Ha! You kill me. Light has nothing to do with it." "What does it all mean then?" asked Roscaro. "The meaning of life," said Botticelli, "is suffering, specifically the suffering of others. Prisoners, for instance. Reducing a prisoner to weeping and wailing and begging is a delightful way to invest your existence with meaning." As he spoke, Botticelli swung from one extraordinary long nail of his right front paw a heart-shaped locket. He had taken the locket from a prisoner and hung it on a thin braided rope. Whenever Botticelli spoke, the locket moved back and forth, and it swung. Are you listening?" Botticelli said to Roscaro. "I'm listening." "Good," said Botticelli. "Do as I say and your life will be full of meaning. This is how to torture a prisoner. First, you must convince him that you are his friend. Listen to him, encourage him to confess his sins. And when the time is right, talk to him. Tell him what he wants to hear. Tell him, for instance, that you will forgive him. This is a wonderful joke to play upon a prisoner to promise forgiveness." "Why?" Roscaro said. His eyes went back and forth, following that locket as he's swinging back and forth. "Because," said Botticelli, "you will promise it, but you will not grant it. You gain his trust, and then you deny him. You refuse to offer the very thing he wants: forgiveness, freedom, friendship. Whatever it is that his heart most desires, you withhold." At this point in the lecture, Botticelli laughed so hard that he had to sit down and catch his breath. The locket swayed slowly back and forth, and then it stopped altogether. "Ha!" said Botticelli. "Yes, you gain his trust. You refuse him, and you become what he knew you were all along. What you knew you were all along. A rat." Botticelli wiped his eyes and shook his head and sighed a sigh of great contentment. He set the locket in motion again. At that point, it is most effective to run back and forth over the prisoner's feet, inducing physical terror along with the emotional sort. "Oh," he said, "it is such a lovely game, and it is just absolutely chock full of meaning." "I would like very much to torture a prisoner," said Roscaro. "I would like to make someone suffer." How awful. "Your time will come," said Botticelli. "Currently, all the prisoners are spoken for, but another prisoner will arrive sooner or later. How do I know this to be true? Because, Roscaro, thankfully there is the evil in this world, and the presence of evil guarantees the existence of prisoners." "So soon there will be a prisoner for me?" "Yes," said Botticelli Rimorso. "Yes. I'm looking forward to it." "Ha! Of course you are looking forward to it." "You're looking forward to it because you are a rat. A real rat." "Yes," said Roscaro. "I am a real rat." "Concerned not at all with light," said Botticelli. "Concerned not at all with light," repeated Roscaro. Botticelli laughed again and shook his head. The locket suspended from the long nail on his paw swung back and forth, "You, my young friend, are a rat." "Exactly. Yes. Evil, prisoners, rats, suffering. It all fits together so neatly, so sweetly. Oh, it is a lovely world, a lovely dark world." That's an awful chapter to end on, isn't it? But I want you to think about what's going on. they've introduced a new character, right? And what the conflict between that character and Gregory, and maybe that character, Gregory, and Despero, right? There'll be quite a few exchanges between the two of them. Now, don't forget to go on to Raz Kids or the Kids A through Z.com and finish the one story, The Hollow. And I would like for you to read it out loud, at least to yourself, if not to a parent, so that when you're taking the quiz that you are fully comprehending what the author is writing, maybe why, what the main conflict would be, what was the author's intention, okay? Those are easy, but if you don't take your time and you read it carefully, then you're going to get these questions wrong, and then those test scores come back askewed from what I know you know. However, this is a different way and venue to take it. So, all right, I'm looking for science experiments.